Welcome to the UK Crypto Podcast. I'm Matty, and today we're joined by Paula. Today we're asking a question that a lot of UK crypto users are asking. Is the UK actually getting left behind when it comes to crypto? While other countries seem to be moving forward, a lot of people here feel lost, confused, stifled and held back, or unsure where they stand with legal terms. So in this episode, we're going to break this down honestly, without the headlines and without the panic. So let's get into it. Before we dive into that, we should quickly thank today's sponsor of the podcast, which is Tangem.
Tangem is our preferred cold storage wallet. It is simple and easy to set up. There are no seed phrases written down. You do not need to worry about losing your seed phrase to get into your wallet. There is literally no cables, no setup, no extra laptop. You simply just download the app onto your phone. It removes exchange risks. And if you use the discount code that we've got, it's another 10% off any other discounts that they've got on their website.
I know, you can do layering of those promo codes. Most people don't realise this about the Tangem website. I don't think Tangem like people to know, but we're going to give them a little heads up.
Well, when you normally go to a website, you don't put multiple discount codes in, do you? But you do with Tangem, and you get an extra 10% off. I honestly think Tangem is one of the best products out there, and if it's not your keys, it's not your crypto, Matt. So get your crypto off exchanges, remove that risk and get it onto cold storage.
All right, with that out of the way, let's talk about the bigger picture in the market right now.
We are the UK Crypto Podcast, and I think it's really important to bring this back to the UK because there are so many people that are holding crypto in the UK and just feel disconnected because you hear some massive news report come out of America, or Trump's put tariffs in, or China have done X, Y, and Z, and it affects the prices in the charts. Mm-hmm. And then it never really feels like what happens in the UK has any influencing factor on that. And I think sometimes crypto holders in the UK can just feel really disconnected. And that's probably why I want to talk about it so much. When I'm making YouTube videos, when we're doing these podcasts, I think we need to bring it back because there's a big part of the crypto community that perhaps doesn't feel like their voices are as heard as other areas in the world, particularly with things like institutions, because institutions have been investing in crypto massively, but there's a massive gap in the UK. What big institutions have we got here that are investing in crypto? It's not like it is in the States.
No, absolutely not. But I think if we look at the global crypto adoption, first of all, I mean, I think institutions have been adopting crypto this year like we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Now, it's no secret that I like the XRP project.
Do you?
I do.
I mean, I'd never really realised
I get a lot of love for it and I get a lot of hate for it. And I love both camps when they come for me, right? But something that we've been waiting for, something we've been predicting for a long time was about that institutional adoption. Now, I can think of so many times where quite knowledgeable people in crypto have said to me that institutions will never touch crypto.
Yeah.
Right? They know who they are. Some of them might be watching this now. I remember you. I remember everything that you said. The history on the internet never forgets.
Yeah.
This year, we have seen major players, BlackRock, Vanguard, all the big boys purchasing crypto for ETFs, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. We've even seen a couple of months ago the announcement of a Dogecoin ETF, which has blown my mind.
Yeah.
If somebody would have told me even 2 years, maybe not, even 3 years ago, that a massive financial institution would have a financial product available via an ETF, and it was going to be a meme coin of Doge.
It's crazy.
Honestly, I'd have probably took to social media to say that person's lost their mind.
It's crazy. It's absolutely
incredible.
Crazy.
It's incredible.
And I think for anybody out there that's new to crypto, we talked about new crypto holders in the last episode of the podcast. Just to give everybody a quick explanation about what's an ETF.
Yeah, so an ETF is a fund where people, when they buy stocks and shares, they can go via their financial advisors and they can purchase into a fund of crypto.
Yeah.
So they don't physically buy the crypto. The institution is buying the crypto and they're buying a share of that.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So it gives people more exposure, less potentially risk.
And a much easier entry. So
Yeah.
if you say, for instance, somebody like my dad, who's been in stocks and shares for a very long time, he is never going to buy crypto. He ain't going to go to a crypto exchange. He's not going to go and buy a cold storage wallet.
Yeah.
He's not going to think about seed phrases. It's too complex. It's too new.
Yeah.
This is an entry for old school.
Yeah.
People like my dad and also big businesses.
Yeah,
They can go
100%.
to their financial advisor. What's the good thing for me to invest in today? They'll go, yeah, they'll push of a button, bang, they're in.
Perfect. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And it has opened a market out to institutions particularly, because if you imagine a big institution, a big company, maybe even a government, they're not going to go and buy crypto as a coin and hold it on a wallet.
No.
Not in the same way that retail does.
Yeah.
So it's going to enable people to buy crypto and other stocks, whatever those funds are holding, like they would any other investments, and use their brokers and go through normal, more everyday processes.
Yeah.
So crypto doesn't feel like it's unachievable now, but it can be part of people's investment strategy. I think the other thing to kind of look at is the real world usage, because crypto is now being used more than people ever imagined that it would be, because
More than I ever imagined it would be.
well, yeah.
Maybe we'll do a whole episode one day on the podcast about back in the day,
Yeah.
what it was like compared to now and what
Yeah.
people expected. Because I promise you, I'm an early adopter of Bitcoin. First purchase was just over $1. Nobody was talking about what we're looking at now.
No, because
This was not the vision.
no,
Where we're at today was not the vision.
no, and I don't think back in that time people really understood how this blockchain technology could be integrated, not just into traditional finance, but into so many different areas of people's lives. And I think moving forward, we're going to see blockchain technology and people are going to be using crypto and not even realizing that's what we're using. And I think that's where we're going. But we're seeing stable coins being increasingly used for things like savings and payments, and helping to protect against inflation in countries like Argentina and Turkey.
Yeah.
And again, are we being a little bit left behind in the UK? And I think that's why we need these conversations.
I think one of the things that's becoming more apparent now is that countries that potentially could be in any form of economic trouble,
Yeah.
their economies can hedge against themselves by using crypto.
Yeah.
So it's very topical right now. As the date of recording this, there's recently been, careful how I word this from American audiences, but the leader of Venezuela has been picked up by the Americans and taken to New York. Off the back of that now, news is now coming out just how much Bitcoin Venezuela have.
Yeah.
They've hedged against their economy collapsing because of tariffs.
Yeah.
So what they've done is, instead of leaving their money in their own money or even buying US dollars with it, they've been buying crypto and Bitcoin
Yeah.
as a hedge in case their economy ever just completely collapsed.
Yeah.
Now, that was something we know that economies do that, right? But to see a country like Venezuela, which should be incredibly rich because of its minerals, because of its resources, because of its oil, to see that their number one strategy for nation survival in the event of war or economic crisis was crypto.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy.
Absolutely. And that is such a big change, isn't it? And I think people have been talking recently about how crypto is going to be integrated into traditional finance. We've seen the ISO 20022 being implemented to try and change and update the traditional finance framework and the messaging systems. We're then looking at companies like Ripple, creating payment and settlement rails, again, integrating that into traditional finance, the conversation around stable coins, and all of this stuff feels massively exciting. But again, if we take it back to being a UK holder, well, where's that excitement for the UK? How is that affecting us? Is that going to be integrated with UK banks, or is this something that just happens in America? And I think that there can feel that massive disconnect.
And this is exactly why the UK conversation feels so different to everywhere else.
100%. And it really does feel different. Regulations are different. Innovation is different. And I made a YouTube video this week and it was talking about, yes, crypto is global, but regulation is local. And I think we've got to get our heads around that because not all regulation is the same where you live. And the UK is making changes around regulation. We've seen it. January 2026 was when the new reporting frameworks come into place for taxes. And it's caused a real, I think, separation in the crypto community between whether that's okay that we're taxed for our crypto and whether it's not okay. Because like you were saying earlier, you were involved in crypto at the very beginning. You bought Bitcoin.
Early. Not very beginning, but early.
Very early. You bought crypto at a very Bitcoin at a very low price. And when you were on those forums and you were talking about it, that taxes were never going to be mentioned because it was
anti-government. So listen, for those of you who don't know, I come across Bitcoin because of 4chan. Anybody doesn't know what 4chan is, Google it. And nobody, it was a hedge against the government.
Exactly.
So it was anti-establishment, anti-government, anti-bank. This is a way for peer-to-peer or from person to person transactions to happen. So they'd be away from the prying eyes of the authorities. That was the plan. That was the idea. It was very anti-establishment. It was almost like two fingers up to the society. That was the vibe of it. And we've seen a complete 180. We've seen a complete 180 on that now, to the point that banks and blockchain technology are merging into one.
100%.
It's not even close now.
No.
Those days aren't a case of if, it's now a case of when.
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you've got the original adopters into crypto and they really wanted decentralized everything. They wanted an alternative to governments, an alternative to banking. But then you've got the newer people that are looking at crypto now and the opportunities that are available. And these opportunities come through mass adoption and utility.
Yeah, 100%.
So if we can create crypto to be adopted by the masses and used and have more value to it than just buying a token, then it's going to inflate the prices of these major coins, major market cap coins, in my opinion, because they will have more real world use cases. Along with that, if you have got an investment in any other capacity in your life, you would be expected to pay taxes on that.
Yes.
So I understand there's still a disconnect, and I think the crypto community is still divided, but I think that it's going towards regulation, it's going towards mass adoption, and that is just the evolution. The thing that I think people don't realise about the reporting framework that's been introduced in the UK is it's actually not new. It's new that they've had a framework and they've put something on paper, but there's always actually been an expectation that you report your gains on your crypto. So that is not new. We're not implementing a new tax because this is coming in 2026. What they've done is they've just put it on paper and they've actually gone to the exchanges and said, when we require this data that you hold about your users, you have to provide it. And that's the difference. The exchanges are going to be required by law that when HMRC approach them, they have to give them the data. Yeah. And yes, I've seen it in the comments of the videos that I've been making. People will be saying, oh, I'm just going to put my crypto onto a cold storage wallet. They will never know that I've got crypto.
Massive mistake. It's a huge mistake. They will know, they will see it. By the nature of blockchain, everything is visible. There are some ways that you could potentially hide things through privacy tokens and stuff, but this is not mainstream. Yeah. The majority of people, if you've ever used an exchange, a Coinbase, a Crypto.com, an Uphold, any of the big boys, BTCC, Bitcoin, no, fucking hell, what's it called? Bitchinix. Blowfin. Yeah. Any of the big boys. Yeah. You are now visible. There is now a footprint. Yeah. If you've ever then sent something to a cold storage wallet, your map now has that in there. Yeah. Once they've got one thing to do with you that you've ever used a site where it's KYC, as soon as they've got one thing, they create a web. Yeah. And they can see everything. If somebody sends me crypto, there is a piece of software that I can use. It will do a complete search of everything. And within about 15 minutes, I'll have every single address you've got, every wallet you've got, every exchange you've ever used. It will create me a web of all of everything. If I've got that, everybody in the government can have that if they request
Well, we
it.
know that HMRC is starting to invest in this AI technology. Yes, it will be an integration. Yes, it won't be perfect at the beginning, but we know technology is moving so fast and it's going to be worth so much money in taxes for them to get it right. And I think it's probably naive now to think that you can just hide your crypto away on a cold storage wallet. You probably could have done. If we were talking 10, 15 years ago, we'd be having different conversations, but that's not the way the world is now.
Yeah, if you're a legacy holder, so if you put your stuff onto a cold storage wallet many years ago and you used a non-KYC exchange, which has probably now gone bust and doesn't exist, technically that potentially might be hidden, but how are you going to cash out?
Exactly.
Where are you going to cash out?
Exactly.
Where are you going?
Exactly.
Because as soon as you send it in to your exchange that's now KYC'd, or you send it into a wallet, which is, by the way, you've sent previously somewhere that's KYC'd into that wallet, it's now part of your web.
Yeah.
How long is it going to be until the UK HMRC employ AI or quantum computers one day to suddenly set them and go, boom, go and have a look for everything they've ever touched in crypto?
Exactly. And also, I think the other thing that popped up in my comments quite a lot was, I'm just going to move out of the UK. And I just want to kind of, for those people that aren't aware of the information, this isn't just a UK-based thing.
No.
The Crypto Asset Reporting Framework, CARF, if you've seen that or heard that mentioned, that's what it stands for. This reporting framework is across the UK and 47 other countries. So it's creating this web across the globe. And if you have used a KYC exchange at any point, it might have been 5 minutes ago, it could have been 5 years ago. It doesn't matter, because the blockchain does not forget. And it's one of the reasons why banks have found it so difficult to integrate blockchain technology into their day-to-day transactions, because how do you have something that is so visible on a personal bank account? And
100%.
those things need to integrate over time,
100%.
don't they, to be able to do that. So I think there is a lot of worry in the crypto community about this new tax law that people think is in. It's not new. It's always been the expectation. It's just now you need to understand more about what is a taxable event. And very quickly, I know we've spoken about this in videos and content that we've made, but if you could just give me a few of the things that people might not know are a taxable event.
In the UK?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, a taxable event is a disposal of your crypto, and those can take many different forms. The first one's obvious. You sell your crypto for fiat, pounds, dollars, euros. A straight sale into cash, that's a taxable event. Swapping one crypto for another is a taxable event. It doesn't matter if you made profit. It doesn't matter how much profit you made. And it doesn't matter if you turn that into real money. As soon as you swap a Bitcoin into an XRP, or an XRP into a Solana, or a Solana into Ethereum. And in fact, if you swap your Bitcoin to XRP, and then you wait a few months and you swap that XRP into Solana, there's actually 2 taxable events there.
Yeah. So every time you swap.
Every time you swap, it's a taxable event. Another one would be sending crypto to anybody for anything that's not your spouse. It doesn't matter if it's a gift or a purchase. That is a taxable event. Sending crypto to your spouse. Don't send crypto to your spouse, mate. you got any crypto, lad? Sending crypto to your spouse, is allowed, and it can be tax-free to a certain limits, depending on what they've already had for their capital gains that year. You need a proper crypto tax advisor for that, really. But there is a certain tax-free element there. And another one where people don't realise this one: if you get paid in crypto, that's a taxable event. And the last one, this is one that people always get stumped on when I ever do little quizzes with an audience, especially on live streams. If you receive an airdrop, that there is taxable at the point you get the airdrop, and it's actually income tax. It's not even capital gains. And that was a quirky one, that one. It's actually classed as income tax.
But also staking,
staking as well.
Any kind of yield that you get. So,
exactly. Again, they come under income tax. However, I think I want to make it clear, we are not financial advisors, okay? But we do have the UK's #1 crypto accountant of the year in our arsenal. He's called Jamie. Okay?
He's part of the Crypto Wolf Pack.
He's part of the Crypto Wolf Pack. He's part of our inner circle. We're very blessed to have him part. Something that you don't know, Paula, I've had confirmation from him last night to say that he would absolutely love to come and do an episode in the studio with us and do a full-blown UK crypto focused on tax.
Yeah, awesome.
He is an awesome guy. What I like about Jamie is that he is not just your typical accountant. So if you close your eyes and think of an accountant, he's not it. He's got full tats all over his arms. He's award-winning. He's the best in the game. And he's like one of us. Except for he's actually more of a DJ than me.
Yeah, he is.
So I'm not going to say too much about him. But let me tell you this, guys. He loves a low-cap market on Sol. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
But so the knowledge that Jamie has passed across to us enables us to give you guys some information at a high level. We're not tax accountants. We're not financial advisors. Nothing we say on any of our content should ever be considered as financial advice. Do your own research. But we know, because we have spoken to the experts, that some of those things, all of that list of things are something that are going to trigger a taxable event for HMRC. And if you are not sure what is going to be taxable and what's not, go and speak to an expert like Jamie and make sure that you're covered. Because once you know, you can report your tax in the right way. Because actually what HMRC want you to do is, instead of burying your head in the sand, they want you to be able to make the best effort to report your taxes in the right way. And if you understand what's a disposal and what's not, then you can do that. And you can put your hands in the air. And if there are any mistakes that you've made, then that's a conversation to be had with HMRC. But I know that HMRC want people to be going to them having made an effort to make sure it's right, rather than just pretending like it doesn't exist. And I think that's probably really important moving forward. Just
do a quick shout out here. Anybody that's inside the Crypto Wolf Pack, and if you do want to have a chat to Jamie about your personal taxes, just send me a direct message and we'll get that meeting set up.
Amazing.
So also talking about the UK side, there's something else actually. This was something that I'm going to tell you a story. What we're talking about here is the FCA risk first approach.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that is actually their official phrase. So I think it's well intended. And what this means is they deem everything risky until it's proven not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. They want to protect people. As I've said before 1,000 times online, nothing is more important to me than keeping people safe. It's incredibly important. But their risk-first attitude is actually stifling innovation.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you a quick story about a brand. I can't tell you what the name of the brand is because they haven't given me permission to say about them, especially in an open forum like this. It is a major global crypto brand. They told me in a meeting that they were going to launch a particular product in the UK first, then the EU, then America, then global. Yeah? Super excited. UK was their number one priority market for this product. Fast forward X amount of months, silence. This doesn't make sense. And then I saw a press release. They're going to release this now in South America first. I'm like, what? Emailed. I said, I thought you said the UK was first. And they said, mate, it's because of the UK regulations. It is an absolute nightmare to get anything through. Yeah. They said, it's going to go through. We just needed more time. And we didn't want to delay anymore. Yeah. So we've gone to release in South America first. Yeah. I'm like, what on earth is going on? They said, it's not even like the UK are saying no. It's just so long-winded. Yeah. And it drilled home to me that if you have got a major brand like that in the world, who's obviously one of the safest brands on the planet in crypto, releasing a product which has got very little risk, in my opinion, and they can't get that through. And they openly were saying the UK is our priority market to launch this. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So that stifling of innovation is not a good thing for UK crypto. Well, the thing is, it's going to put big brands off operating here. They've literally put us fourth in the queue now. Yeah, exactly. And that's such a shame for us Brits. Yeah. That's such a shame.
And I can understand it. Listen, the FCA, or the Financial Conduct Authority, is there to make sure that people are protected. And when it comes to things like exchanges and financial advisors or any kind of intermediaries in the UK, they want to put a layer of protection between that intermediary and the customer to make sure the customer is protected. And that's great. That's what people want. But it can't be at the expense of crypto innovation being driven out of the UK. And I think that's what we have seen for so long. Me and you, Matt, earlier in the year, it was back end of last year, October time, we went to Zebu Live.
Fantastic.
And it was an amazing few days. We had an awesome time. We learnt so much. But one of the things that I took away so much from that was when Nigel Farage was speaking, because he was talking about innovation in the UK. And coming from somebody who had worked in the 80s, when the UK was one of the financial hubs of the world.
The financial hub of the world.
Exactly. Yeah. Commodities trading was massive. Yeah. And we were really dominating that space. And then comparing that to now, where innovation has been completely driven out of the UK, if it's not from a FCA perspective because they are slowing everything down and there's so much red tape, it's from a tax perspective because it doesn't make financial sense for crypto innovators to be here. I think it was interesting for me to look at the speed that this technology is being created.
Yeah.
If we have got regulators that are being so slow, those two things don't marry up.
Yeah.
And ultimately, is that just going to mean that the UK never catches up?
Yeah.
And I think that's a massive concern.
So I think it doesn't matter what your opinion is of Nigel Farage, whether you believe in his politics or not, right? I was asked to go to Zebu Live to create content to show London's biggest Web3 crypto conference to normal people on masses, right? Because my audience is not necessarily a Web3 audience, okay? So I went there. When I saw that Nigel Farage was talking, it was like gold dust for me because I know that's going to be great content, right? I went into that room for Nigel Farage to talk, waiting for him to say something outrageous so I could quickly get onto TikTok and talk about it and go and get hits. And I'm going to put it out there. I was waiting for him to make a mistake so that I could hammer him online.
Because that was not his audience.
No.
If you're looking at the people that are in that space, they're not going to be your typical reform voters.
No, not at all. And by the way, I'm not anti-Farage, but I knew he was going to make good content and I was convinced he was going to collapse in that room.
Yeah.
Because it was obvious that was not a reform room.
Yeah.
He went in there and I don't think I've ever, and I mean ever, seen anybody hold a room in the palm of their hand so easily.
Yeah.
He was all over him. Now, he did something there, and I know that me and you spoke about this privately, and it was so clever. It showed me that if that guy can win that room over, he could win a lot of rooms over.
Yeah.
He literally stood there, or sat there, I think he sat down actually, he sat there and he said, they were talking about UK regulations, and he went around the room and he said, guys, I have been debanked. They took my bank off me.
Yeah.
How many people in this room have been debanked? And there was a pause for about 4 seconds and no hands went up. And then they went up around the room, bang, 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 bang. Because crypto people get attacked in the UK.
Yeah.
I personally have had a bank account frozen.
Yeah.
I personally had a bank account put on freeze until I can prove ridiculous things that should never matter.
Yeah.
Right? The way he keyed into that room and the way he built the trust in that room was unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. I said, I'm not a Farage supporter. I'm not a Farage hater. I was ready for him to make a mistake so I could make some wicked content about it. But the way he held that room was impressive.
But that's another thing about crypto holders in the UK and that worry about being debanked because your crypto transactions to the bank look worrying. If the UK banks are not going to integrate some of this blockchain technology into their systems, then everything that's outside of their system looks dodgy.
Yeah.
And that's a worry, isn't it? So no wonder when people are buying crypto in the UK, they want to keep it on a cold storage wallet or they want to keep it out of the UK because they don't want that worry. If you lose your bank account, well, what happens to your mortgage? What happens to paying your gas bill?
100%.
So it is a real worry. And what I saw this week was some shoots of life with that. So we've got banks like Barclays this week that have invested in a company called Ubix, and Ubix are a stablecoin processing company, and it looks like to me that it is the first green shoots of them being involved in crypto and blockchain. And you've also got Lloyds. Lloyds Bank have been using tokenized pilots for mortgage processing, for reconciliation, for interbank payments. So hopefully when the banks in the UK, and especially the big banks like Lloyds and Barclays, when they start integrating some of this tech, I think it will give UK crypto holders just a little bit more confidence that actually they don't risk getting debanked from just investing in crypto, because it feels wild. And it feels like, again, that's another thing that the UK crypto holders have to worry about and have to consider.
Yeah, I think I'd like to tell a little story. I don't feel comfortable saying openly who I bank with. But because the type of bank is a major UK bank, okay, I'll say that. And because the type of bank account I've got a personal bank manager. Okay.
It's very fancy.
Oh, it's very fancy. Well, you know me. But listen, I've got a personal bank manager and they rang me as part of a normal, about every 6 months we have a chat, right?
Yeah.
And then while I've got you on the phone, can I ask you something about crypto? And I was like, go ahead. They said, we know you're into crypto because of some of your transactions. Basically, they blocked some transactions.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, I think I've mentioned this quite a lot online. Quite often, I would transfer cash out of my normal UK bank into a different type of bank account, and then I'll do crypto transactions that way.
Yeah.
Should I ever need fiat into crypto? Quite often, I don't need to do that because I actually rotate into stable coins now to buy more crypto. But should I ever need a cash injection, then I go to a different bank that's not my major UK bank. Then I go and do it that way because it doesn't get blocked. They said, we know you're into crypto because of X, Y, and Z. And you've actually been highlighted as a customer that we'd like to talk to further. I was like, go ahead, what do you want to know? They said, it's not for now, it's for early 2026. We're trying to gather approximately 100 to 200 of our clients that we know have crypto connections. And we want to basically pick your brains on what you would want from a bank in terms of crypto. I'm like, I'm all in. Because first of all, that's gold content for me.
Absolutely.
Absolute gold content for me. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But also, I'm a big believer that actually the more innovation that we can have in terms of banking and crypto, the better it is for the average user. And that includes myself as well.
Yeah.
So I said, well, what kind of things do you want to know? She went, I actually got a tick list here where they're asking me which bits you would want to talk about, depending on which part of which group you'd be put into.
Yeah.
I said, go for it. And I'm not going to bore you with all of it, but one of the questions was, I couldn't believe she was asking it me. She said, would you feel comfortable, neutral, or not comfortable with the bank being the custodian of your crypto? I was like, say that again.
Did you say, not my keys, not my crypto?
I said, just to clarify, are you asking me if I would feel comfortable with you holding my crypto? She said, yes. I was like, wow. I was like, okay, so I like self-custody, right? That is like literally my bag, right? I literally teach people self-custody.
Yeah.
I said, however, I would be prepared to talk to you about that because I could also answer you that not just from a personal perspective.
Yeah.
She said, what do you mean? I said, but because of what I do, and I explained, and she was like, okay. I said, I could actually probably talk to you on behalf of more people than just my own perspective.
Yeah.
I said, because there are a lot of people that would want to do that. Me personally, probably not. I'd probably hedge a bit of bets, maybe have a bit in the bank and did it. Because I like, you know me, I like spreading
diversity,
risk.
yeah,
I like
exactly.
spreading risk.
Yeah.
So actually that does sound a bit sensible, especially if up to X amount of pounds value is now insured because it's in a bank.
Yeah,
you understand? Especially if it's up to a certain value because you know that's going to be insured in a bank in the UK.
Yeah.
I said, however, you've got people that actually are scared to move their crypto off in exchange onto a cold storage wallet because it feels scary. Would they feel safer sending it to their bank? Absolutely, they would.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not even in question.
Yeah.
And she said, I don't understand crypto. I was like, because of your job and because of how fast crypto is moving, you need to learn and learn quick.
Yeah.
She went, what do you mean? I went, you know all them old boys that are into stocks and shares? She went, yeah, and they're dying.
Yeah.
They're all passing away slowly.
Yeah.
The next one's coming through. Your next clients, the next clients with certain wealth, they're all going to be into crypto.
Yeah.
Because everybody younger than me and down, the younger you get, the more chance you are to get into crypto.
Yeah.
I said to her, now we're talking about 2 in every 4 people between 18 and 24 are now into crypto. She went, really? I went, yes.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, okay.
But it's not even that, Matt. I mean, yes, she needs to learn about crypto from a retail user perspective, but we're talking about blockchain technology, tokenized assets, interbank settlement rails.
She can flog them ETFs. Yeah, I didn't even get it down that to it. I mean, if they can start, because they sell this particular bank, they have ISAs and they have all sorts. And if you can have crypto related ISAs, then you can have maybe cryptos linked to ETFs. Have ISAs linked to other ETFs, which all these amalgamated products are going to become available more and more readily.
And ETNs.
They're going to be flogging them, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of education to be done.
Yeah.
So the person that was talking to me that's in charge of giving me advice just told me that she knows nothing about crypto.
Yeah,
so
wild.
I love the fact that she's there, but she can get in the bin when it comes to advice.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because with crypto becoming more adopted, and I genuinely believe that mass adoption and utility is going to happen. I think it's so far down the road now, and I think the reason it's going to happen is it will enable, used right, so much faster transactions. It will ultimately be safer, and the move into CBDCs and digital money is going to happen, because whether we like it or not, whoever creates the money owns the power, and all of the governments around the world are going to want to be able to create their own CBDCs. I don't think it's even in question that that crypto and blockchain technology is going to be used. And the idea that the banks could potentially be helping people create accounts where they can hold and use crypto, or maybe even buy crypto. They might turn themselves into kind of
100%,
exchanges.
That's 100% coming.
I think it's going to tap into an everyday user at a level that we haven't seen before, because crypto isn't easy to buy when you're a brand new user. It's not just a case of I'm just going to go on and buy this. It's more complex than that, and it feels more complex. And for a lot of people, they wouldn't even get past the first step.
No.
So if we can make this simpler, if we can wrap some regulations around it that fit into the UK banking laws, great. But let's just go back to what we were talking about, the FCA earlier. It's not fast enough. The regulations are not fast enough.
No.
And if we, again, just drop back to what we were talking about earlier, we were talking about Zebu, we were talking about Nigel Farage speaking.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I found really interesting was his approach to crypto, because as an ex-commodities trader, he probably comes at finance and UK finance in a slightly different way from a lot of
he's got experience that most people won't have.
Yeah, he's got real lived life experience. Yeah, exactly. And the fact that he was talking about these institutions and regulators that are making the rules in the UK sit within their own remits. And what I kind of mean by that is you've got the FCA, but the FCA report to the FCA. They don't report to anyone else. It's almost like they are their own entity. They can decide at what speed we do this. They can decide on what is regulated. Yes, if they make a decision that people don't like, then it would be investigated. But again, it's all red tape. It's all long term.
So he was saying this, wasn't he? And I find it really interesting because I'd never heard anybody speak like him about this. And he was saying, we need deregulation.
Yeah.
He said it's not even close. It's not even near.
Yeah.
Because if we don't deregulate and we take this hostile environment away from from crypto industry operating in the UK, they will go elsewhere. Yeah. And it was a really interesting thing, actually. So Zebu treated us really well. We went out for dinners.
It was amazing.
They took us partying. Yeah. Honestly, I can't speak highly enough of Zebu, really. I won't say which brand this is, but one of the brands, we went for a meal with some of their head people.
Yeah.
And there was another few different crypto firms there as well. All Brits. None of them lived in the UK.
Yeah.
Portugal.
Yeah.
South Africa.
Yeah.
Argentina.
Yeah.
Brazil. I was like, why does nobody live in the UK? And he was like, we have to leave. To do the jobs we do, we have to leave here. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. So some of the real minds in this industry, within the Web3 community, which, by the way, I'm not a Web3 tech geek, right?
Yeah.
I'm far from that.
Yeah.
So I was going there with an open mind to learn from these people, I wasn't coming from a position of knowledge. I was literally a sponge ready to listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm literally watching some really important people in that scene going, we had to get out.
Yeah. Well, it was really interesting.
Wow. They wanted to get out for tax reasons. They wanted to get out for innovation reasons.
Yeah.
They wanted to get out for regulation reasons.
Yeah.
One guy, incredibly patriotic. I was talking to him. He loves this country. And he was like, I had to go. And I'm going to be honest with you, Matt, my life in Portugal is now better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, that is really sad.
Well, if you think back to the guy that I was sat next to, he is an innovator and he is in the UK.
Yes.
But his next conversation was...
which country to go to?
I need to move. Yeah. And at the moment, my children are in school and it's not on... I can't do that, but I am massively disadvantaged in staying in the UK in terms of what I can create
100%.
And how much it costs me.
Yeah. And he was at the table doing the maths. Now, it's not for us to out these people.
No.
If ever they wanted to come on here and talk to us, that'd be great. But they were literally doing the maths at the table. literally doing the calculations of which country would be best for them to leave.
100%.
Yeah.
One of the other things that is really important that has changed this week, there's been a new law passed, and it's about how crypto is being defined in terms of being recognised and digital assets being recognised as property in the UK.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden is a bit of a game changer for crypto, because it is recognising that crypto exists. I think for very many years, the UK hasn't really wanted to integrate it, hasn't really wanted to even acknowledge that it was a thing that people were holding. But now that law has been passed, it's something that we need to consider, because it will be something that is in estates. So if somebody passes away, they will need to be considered in their crypto. If you get divorced, it's going to be in your estate. They've also passed the law so that people can then be investigated from a criminal perspective. So assets could be seized, because digital assets were never considered property in the UK before. So again, it is a change. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it today is because, yes, it's something that you've got to consider if you've got if you are a UK crypto holder. What happens in your legacy plans with your crypto that you hold?
Yeah.
That's something to really think about. But more a case of just the recognition that I think it's being given. And I think that is a real step forward for the UK government.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth pointing out, though, that our courts already treated crypto as personal property, but it just wasn't written in law.
Yeah.
But they already, if they had to make a judgment, would always fall on that side anyway. But now the law is clear, the judges have to.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, because it's the done thing, they've now cemented it into law.
Yeah.
So I think that's good, because at least now we know where we are. There's so much distrust. When I made a story on this online, the distrust from people at the moment around this, it was suspicion.
Yeah.
We live in a world at the moment where most people are not happy with the government.
No.
It doesn't matter which side of the fence of politics you fall. Everybody seems to be annoyed with the government. When it comes to taxes, everybody hates taxes anyway.
Yeah.
So you combine those two things into one go. Then you add crypto into the mix, which is already a motive subject anyway, and it was like a bee's nest.
Yeah.
So I think most people were suspicious of this, but honestly, things were already being treated like property when the crunch came down, and the government could already seize people with Bitcoin. They've been seizing Bitcoin off criminals for a very long time. So we know they have the powers to do it should they want to. So I don't think anything's really changed, but I think it's good now that it's written officially
100%.
in law, so people know exactly where they stand.
100%. So what's the takeaway from all of this?
I think the takeaway from this is that the UK wants to be a hub for crypto globally. They're openly saying they want to be a hub for crypto globally.
They're saying they're going to keep up with the Americans in terms of the timeline.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the reality is, at the moment, we are lagging behind.
Yeah.
I think we need to get less regulation. I think we need to be also looking at making trade easier. So instead of trying to do that risk-first approach where everything's scary until proven not, I think we need to be a little bit more big boy about this.
Yeah.
Yes, of course, the FCA need to be able to make sure that things are safe, and if they're obvious scams, take them down.
Yeah.
But to be assuming everything's dodgy until it's not, that's probably too far.
Yeah, and it's different. So I'm not... I maybe I don't 100% agree that we need less regulation, but what I think we need more clarity, and we need to make things less complex. So it's not necessarily that we need less regulation, because actually once all the regulations are in, it gives a really good framework for companies
100%.
Big institutions are not afraid of regulation. They're afraid of the uncertainty.
Absolutely.
So actually,
100%.
let's get the regulations in, but let's just not make them so bloody complex. Let's not have to get through all this red tape just to get something passed.
I think at the moment, a lot of UK users are feeling, maybe they're feeling like they're being punished because of the tax.
Yeah.
They're feeling maybe that they could be doing something wrong because everybody's told this is scary, this is wrong.
Yeah.
And I think there's that whole cloud around at the moment. I think actually we need to flip that on its head, and we need to be having conversations about crypto being positive, not from me or you, from a government level.
Yeah.
Because that's the way we're going.
Yeah.
They can't be investing the way they are in blockchain technology. Listen, the UK government have sent, what's our Chancellor Exchequer called? The one that does the budget, the lady. Can't remember her name. Rachel Reeves. Rachel Reeves sat down only a few weeks ago with Vance from the United States American government, with a representative Ripple, with a representative from I think it was Visa. They had a representative from another blockchain as well. They sat down and they landed to speak to them about the American framework they're rolling out. They want the Brits to fall in line with that. And they're hoping that once the Brits and the Yanks can have a synergy when it comes to a framework, then the rest of the world will fall in line. They're literally opening the door for us to go first. If the UK jumps first and we have a framework that works, this could be game-changing for the UK, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, listen, yes, there are a lot of things that feel complex at the moment, but I can just only urge people, make sure that you understand these regulations. Make sure you understand how it fits into you.
Yeah,
understand
informed.
your reporting obligations for HMRC, because knowledge is power. And yes, it feels scary when you don't understand what's going on. So just spend some time. Make sure you do know. And then use that as your superpower to use crypto in the UK.
Have conversations.
Yeah.
Have conversations with other knowledgeable people.
Yeah.
I think that's, again, we talk about our community, but that's why that's really good for that. But it doesn't have to be in a community.
Yeah.
You could just be reading different media articles from different angles.
Yeah.
Remember that quite often media is swayed one way. Try and find a media article that going the opposite to that one to find some balance.
Yeah.
And I think if you are in any kind of position of any kind of influence, whether it's through a business link or whether it's through political links, I think everyone needs to be pulling together in the crypto community. We've got the Standby Crypto organisation, I think it's called now. Anybody can sign up.
Yeah.
So there's an organisation in the UK that's designed to be able to put pressure on UK government to give us a better crypto environment. And I truly believe in that. We went to one of their parties, actually, and they had, I like a vodka Red Bull. They had no Red Bull left, so I was drinking vodka pineapple. Interesting drink, but it was a good party.
So the biggest takeaway for me is literally stay informed. Don't use this as a means to feed any kind of negative emotion. Don't be scared. Don't be fearful. Literally, understanding the regulations should be your superpower. And there are so many opportunities in the crypto space. I think that we need to be embracing them, whether or not our regulations are more difficult, whether or not our taxes are more difficult to navigate. It doesn't matter. The opportunities are there. Just make sure that you understand them. Education, obviously, as always. Check out all the links in our descriptions. We've got the link for the Crypto Wolfpack community. If you go to cryptowolfpack.co.uk, the link for the community and also the free trading course that Matt has made is there. We've got the links for Tangem, the cold storage wallet we use. Remember, if you use the discount code, you will get an extra 10% off.
Yeah, with the link that's in the description of this video, that discount will already be pre-applied, actually. It's already automatically
amazing.
there.
It's been another amazing podcast. I'm so excited that we're going on this journey and we're talking about particularly UK crypto, talking about crypto from a UK perspective. There's not enough of it out there. Again, really enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much, Matt.
No worries. Thank you very much.